Hello everyone, it's me, Aaron, Thorgi, whatever the hell you want to call me, and I just want to come in here and say Happy New Year. Yes, we all managed to make it 2023. You should all be very proud of yourselves. That's a big achievement. As you can all see, I'm bringing total lumberjack energy into the new year. That's my attitude going forward. But yes, it is now January, which means that Sherlock Holmes is in the public domain. Congratulations to that one person out there with the very weird fanfic that they've been working on for the longest time. You can finally publish it. You're finally free. That's true, by the way. Sherlock Holmes now in the public domain. But that is not what we are here to talk about today. No, it is January, which means it is time for our annual Thorgi Direct. I say annual, but we've really only done it twice before, but I'd like to consider it an ongoing regular tradition. This is where I come in here and I give you guys sort of an update on where the channel is, but I also give you guys an idea of where I want to take the channel in the upcoming year. I talk about what videos I have planned for the upcoming year, just to try and get you guys excited, get you guys hyped for what's coming up, but also, clarify some stuff that's going on behind the scenes, let you guys, know some big updates that are happening, and to just really ramble on because I refuse to ever write a script for these things. Also, because it is January, I have a constantly stuffed up nose and these scratches thrown in the world, so I apologize for all the that you're going to hear in this video, and that I'm going to keep stopping to drink from my cup here. That makes the pain go away. So, let's start by talking about, I don't even know what that joke just meant. Let's start by talking about what happened on this channel in 2022, and the big thing that we have to start by talking about is that last year during the Thorgi Direct, I said that our goal for 2022 was to hit 50,000 subscribers here on this channel. And holy crap, we did it! Oh my goodness, that was like the biggest goal that I've ever set. And I can't believe that we freaking did it. I thank you guys so much. I thank everybody out there who subscribed, everybody who had already been subscribed, and you guys stuck around, everybody who gave us thumbs up on the videos, who commented to tell YouTube that they need to spread the videos around, who didn't even tell YouTube to spread the videos around, but you did yourself. You spread the videos around on social media, on wherever you thought people might enjoy these videos. That stuff really does help. I've seen you guys out there doing it. I really do appreciate that. I want you guys to know that it always makes me feel good when I see other people like sharing the videos around out there. Thank you all so much for that. I cannot believe that we actually hit 50,000 subscribers. That is incredible. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm just gonna take a moment here to say that, again, thank you to all the fans out there, everybody who has been subscribing, sharing the videos around. Thank you to all of the bigger content creators out there who have shared my stuff around. Like, I've seen people on Twitter who are other YouTubers, who are artists, who are people who have far bigger followings than me, and they're retweeting my stuff, and I'm just like, oh, that's, wow. Thank you. That's a huge thing. I appreciate that so much. I want those guys out there to know that I see them doing that. I appreciate that too. But even if you don't have like a huge following out there, again, anybody who just shares these videos around, it's big. It means a lot to me. Thank you all so much. Like, YouTube doesn't do the best job of sharing videos around. I mean, heck, they will often just unsubscribe people from channels that they are subscribed to. So yeah, YouTube is like actively trying to hurt its creators and have been doing that for a long time. So the way that anybody succeeds on YouTube is through you guys. It's through you guys actually helping out these channels, which you guys have done this year. So yeah, thank you all so much. And we managed to do it on December 30th. Like, 364 out of 365 days of the year had gone past, and that's when we hit the 50,000 mark. I am never going to question another movie out there where someone's trying to defuse a bomb and they managed to do it with like 2 seconds left on the clock. I'm never going to question that again. And one of the reasons why hitting 50,000 is so big for me is because if you were with us last year, I brought this up in last year's Thorgi Direct. Before doing this channel, we had another channel out there, and it was a channel that was just dedicated to like all pop culture in general. So like not just games, but comics, movies, all that stuff in general. And that channel hit 37,000 subscribers and then just stopped. Like, it literally for like 2 years did not gain any new subscribers. I mean, it did, but any subscribers that gained, we also lost. And I just got to a point in which I was like, man, we're not growing. And if the channel isn't growing, it kind of feels dead. But also, I just wasn't enjoying that channel at all. So I wasn't enjoying what I was making on that channel. And it wasn't even like bringing anything in. I was not enjoying what I was doing just so I could like keep everything stable and at one level. I'm enjoying this channel. I love doing stuff on this channel, and it's growing. So those two things combined, it's amazing. So again, just thank you guys so much. Also, before I forget, another big thing that happened to this channel last year, you can see it right there, we joined the Capcom Creator Program. Yeah, that's a program for content creators that Capcom looks at and is just like, hey, you're doing all right. Here's some free stuff for you guys. And yeah, as somebody who's been a massive Capcom fan their entire life, that was wild to just know that like people at Capcom like looked at our channel and was just like, yeah, you know what, you're all right. Especially wild considering how much crap I talk about Capcom in some of our videos. I don't think they saw those ones. I don't think they watched the Darkstalkers retrospective. But yeah, it was really kind of blew me away to just be accepted into that. And hopefully that should help give me some access to some upcoming Capcom products in the upcoming year that I might really be looking forward to and want to make a couple videos on. We will talk about that in a couple seconds. But let's go ahead and talk about some things that are changing for this channel in the upcoming year. And the first big one, you probably all saw on the title card, we do now have a Patreon. People have been asking me for years to set up a Patreon, which is wild. It always kind of leaves me speechless when complete strangers on the internet tell me, hey man, I want to give you some money. It's like, what? Well, you don't know me. Why? It's like, yes, just I am not good at accepting praise, I guess. I'm not good at accepting people saying that they want to help out the channel. But I do appreciate it. That's just wild to me to hear. But I was very nervous about setting up a Patreon account. I was very nervous for two reasons. One, as I already mentioned, we did have a channel before this channel. And people again on that channel said, hey, you should set up a Patreon. So eventually I was like, you know what, we're gonna do it. And I set up the Patreon and like nobody joined. And then it just became a thing that I had to keep updating and keep track of, even though it wasn't actually really helping the channel at all. And I was kind of nervous that the same thing would happen again. But I set up a poll on Twitter, I set up a poll on the YouTube channel itself, and a lot of you guys said yes, I would join the Patreon. So you know what, we're going to risk it, we're going to go ahead and try it out. Because I came to the realization, you know, as I mentioned earlier, I want our channel to keep growing. I want it to keep getting better. And that doesn't just mean subscriber count. It also means actually making things better on the channel. And I came to that moment recently in which I said, you know what, in order to actually improve the channel, it's going to take money at this point, you know, in order to get better recording equipment, in order to get more thumbnail art, because we do thumbnail art for all the fighting game retrospectives. Don't do it for any of the builder rosters or any of our other videos. It'd be great if I could start being able to pay artists to be able to do that now. But yeah, the big goal, the big one that I would love to do is I would love to be able to eventually hire on an editor who could edit some of these videos for me, because I do enjoy editing. But whenever I edit a video, it's like 2 weeks of just not being able to do anything else aside from edit those videos. And I would be able to get so much more done if I could also have somebody regularly on staff who could be editing these videos alongside me. So yeah, those are the big reasons why I decided, you know what, it's time that we actually do set up the Patreon. I think it would actually help this channel out. Plus, in the upcoming year, in 2023, there may be some pretty big life changes for me, because my wife has been going to school for the past several years, and she's going to be graduating this year, which means that we may end up moving somewhere, and moving always costs a ton of money. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie, the channel is doing fine for me now. The channel is doing just fine for me. I'm able to pay my rent, I'm able to pay my bills, I'm able to get groceries every single year, I'm able to afford all this dumb crap. But moving is one of those things that's like, oh god, that'd be a ton of cash. So you know what, I'm not gonna lie, if a Patreon could bring in a little extra money to help with that, that would also be amazing. But I'm actually done with this drink. I don't need it anymore. But let's talk about the other big thing that you guys have been asking us to do for a long time now, and we are going to try and finally do it this upcoming year. You guys have been asking me to do a Discord for the longest time, and I've been wanting to do a Discord for the longest time because A, I like being able to keep in touch with you guys, and the number one way that I've been able to keep in touch with the community here is through Twitter. But I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the news recently. Twitter ain't doing well. And who knows how much longer it could be sticking around. Like every single day, it just becomes a little bit more like, oh, this could be the final week of it. I mean, I don't think Twitter is going to actually go away, but it might just become so broken it's unusable. So yeah, it'd be nice if I had another place out there that I could keep in touch with the community. And I've set up an Instagram, I've set up a Tumblr, and those are nice. But if you're not an artist, it's not the best way to keep in touch with the community. I think honestly for someone like me, Discord would be the best way for that. Plus, I would love it if we could like set up a community that could like help each other out a little bit, because on this channel we talk about a lot of fighting games, and not all of them are the big new hotness that everyone is playing. A lot of them, you know, like I mentioned BlazBlue, and BlazBlue Central Fiction has a ton of people out there playing it right now, but they're all people who've been playing it for several years in a row now. And I keep thinking like, man, if somebody new wanted to get into this game, they might not be able to find anyone else around their skill level. It'd be cool if I put out a video on something, people said, hey, I'd like to start playing this. I'd like to play against some other people out there, but I'm not very good at anyone else out there kind of new to the game. It'd be great if we had like a Discord where people could like meet and actually like set up like matches with each other, or just, you know, like give feedback on the channel, give feedback on stuff that they would like to see happening, help promote their own stuff, because I've had so many of you guys like start your own builder rosters. I've had many people contact me and say, hey, is it okay if I do my own builder roster video? And my rule has always been, I do not own the idea of building your own roster. I just own the name builder roster. So yeah, my only rule has been like, as long as you don't call it builder roster, absolutely do your own videos. So you know what, Discord would be a great way to show that off. So yeah, I definitely want to set up a Discord this year. Here's why we haven't done it yet. I am so busy with so many things, and I'm working on so many different videos at any given time. I know I would not be able to moderate a Discord. I know that would just be too much on me. So, I didn't want to set up a Discord until I could find some people to help moderate. Especially because like I've had bad experiences with that. I knew someone who started up a Discord for just their friends. They probably don't want me telling this story, but screw it, I'm gonna do it anyways. I knew somebody who set up a Discord just for their friends. And then their friends were like, hey, can we invite our friends? And we're like, yeah, do that. And then their friends were like, hey, can we invite our friends? Yeah, sure, go ahead. And it just kept growing and growing. And eventually the person who started it was like, you know what? I'm not really feeling this anymore. I'm not really gonna be around all that much. So they just kind of stopped hanging out there. And then one day after like 5-6 weeks, they checked back in on the Discord. And people kept getting added and added and added until eventually people who they wouldn't want on the Discord got added, and they came back and they're like, oh, there's a whole lot of really hateful stuff on here now. And I don't like this. Delete the whole thing. Delete it. And yeah, I would hate to set up a Discord for this channel and then have something like that happen. So yeah, I would need moderators on there. So I'm saying this right now to say, I know you guys want to set up a Discord. I would like to set up a Discord. If you would be interested in volunteering to be a moderator, then send me a DM on Twitter. Let me know if you've had any experience moderating stuff before in the past. Let me know like how active you are on Discord, stuff like that. So yeah, if you wouldn't mind helping out in that way. Again, no pressure on anybody at all to do that. And also, it's not like I'm gonna set this thing up in a week. So if you guys send me like DMs and then you don't hear anything about the Discord for like 3 more months, that's entirely a thing that could happen. So if you send me a DM now and say like, hey, I'd like to be a moderator, and then like 3-4 months from now when it's like, hey, the Discord's finally up, and you're like, oh, I can't really do that anymore. No problem there. Totally understand on that. But I just wanted to make that announcement here. And if you guys are interested in the Discord, when we eventually do make it, I'll officially start announcing it in the videos themselves. So yeah, okay, so those are the 2 big new additions that we're going to make. Also, I want to talk right now about my own personal goals for 2023. Not even for the channel, but it will affect the channel. I'm going to try and take better care of myself in 2023. Because, man, I wrecked my body this year. I wrecked my body in 2022. I put out way too much stuff in 2022. And I had a little bit of a scare at one point that I'll talk about in a little bit. But it did make me kind of realize, like, man, I really do need to take better care of myself. Especially when it comes to my weight. because back in high school and in the early years of college, I was very overweight, and I started working out, and I lost a good like 50 pounds, got down to a decent enough weight. Then I got sick with something and I lost another 50 pounds like in the span of like 2 months from being sick. And ever since then, I've been struggling with being underweight. Like once you get underweight from being sick from something, it's kind of hard to get back up to like a normal healthy weight. But I've slowly kind of like been able to maintain a healthy weight over the years. And this is the first year in which I was so focused on work that I lost a lot of weight again. And I actually had people commenting about how much, like they could see it. They could see that I was losing weight. And that's not good. So I need to focus this year on like getting myself back up to a healthy weight. And hopefully I'll be able to also like maybe like go to the gym and make sure that the weight is added on correctly. But honestly, when you're underweight, just gaining weight on period is like the important thing. So yeah, goal number one this year for me personally is just to get back up to a healthy amount. And that might mean taking some time off from the channel. That might mean going, hey guys, I've been working too much. Gotta focus on me right now. And that goes even beyond just like health. That goes even just beyond like my physical health. We are not going to do a top 10 games of 2022 video this year. And the reason why is I didn't play 10 games last year that were new. I was actually trying to put together my 10 best games of the year list, and I got up to 7, and like number 7 for me was a game that I was like, this one was okay. I was like, oh my God, is number 7 for me going to be a game that's just okay? Because I played that few games? Oh no. Yeah, like I could probably put together a list of 10 games I played last year, but number 10 and number 9 would be games I flat out hated. So yeah, when I came to the realization, oh man, I didn't even play one new game a month last year, and this is a video game channel. Yeah, I need to make sure that I give myself a little bit more free time and try and be a little bit healthier with how I focus on work. So yeah, that will end up affecting the channel because even though I do have plans for this upcoming year, there may come that moment in which I'm like, guys, I've been working too much, gotta take time off, gotta be healthy, gotta make sure that I just like take a week, try and recover. So I'm just letting you guys know about that right now. Also because I believe that if I say this stuff out loud and I put it out there into the internet where all you guys can see it, it will force me to actually do it. Like if I tell you guys like, hey man, I've been losing too much weight, I gotta like try and get the weight back on again. Yeah, that actually now puts pressure on me to actually do it because there are witnesses to me actually saying this. So yeah, that's my own personal goal for the upcoming year. Also, one more kind of personal, kind of business related goal that I have for the upcoming year. I want to stream way more. I do enjoy streaming. It took me a while to get to a point in which I was comfortable streaming, but now I think I am. And also, I have now finally figured out a way to stream and record footage at the same time. That was the big reason why I didn't stream more, is because, yeah, I gotta play a lot of games for this channel to get all that footage for those retrospectives. But I can't really stream them and record at the same time, and I gotta record them, so I couldn't stream. But now I figured out a way to do that. So yeah, I do definitely want to stream more this year. And that is the segue into what we have planned for the upcoming year. Because the first thing that I want to talk about is our annual charity stream, Fight for the Future. Yes, we have done it for 3 years in a row now. Last year was our biggest year ever. I set a goal of $1,000. And we raised $2,000, and that was incredible. We did it for the International Rescue Committee, and those guys were very nice. They actually got in touch with me afterward and said like, "Hey man, we were watching the stream, and you were doing great, and we appreciate how much money you raised." And they sent me like a free shirt, and I think I actually have like stickers that they sent me too, like a sticker and a pin. Where is that? It's over here somewhere. Anyway, yeah, big shout out to those guys. That's the worst segue in the world where I'm like, no, they sent me stuff. It's not here. But yeah, I appreciate that from them. That was so nice of them. But yeah, but it was even more nice of you guys for tuning in, for donating. It was great. I was so happy that we were able to raise that money. So Fight for the Future will be continuing. I don't know what the charity is going to be that we're going to pick this time. I always like to make the charity that we pick something that has to do with an event that's going on in the world this year. And as I have learned from the past 3 years of doing this, you should not decide this stuff in January. In 2020, when we were going to do it for the first year, it was going to be in response to the wildfires that were going on in Australia, which was very important. But then something else happened in 2020. I was like, maybe we should be focusing on that. So yeah, I'm not going to pick anything until we get actually closer to the date, because then I just jinx it. But I enjoy doing the charity stream so much. It is a ton of work and it is a ton of stress, but I do enjoy doing it. And it does just feel good to actually know that you're helping people and that you're actually making a difference and you're doing something for a good cause out there. So I have been wanting to do a second charity stream for many years now. And I think this year I'm going to actually attempt to do that. And I don't know what we're going to do. I've got 3 ideas right now. The first idea is to do a horror theme one in October, because I love spooky stuff, and we definitely should be doing more spooky stuff in October on this channel. So I would love to do like a week of horror games to raise money for a good cause. But also, I mentioned this before, Capcom creator, I'm a massive Capcom fan. And I love talking about older Capcom properties. I would love to do a week-long charity stream just playing Capcom games. Might run into an issue there with the Capcom folks. I'll have to ask them if it's okay for me to do that. But yeah, we will see if they are okay with that. But yeah, those are the 2 big ideas that I have. I also was thinking about doing Thorgi Finally Plays as a charity stream. For anybody who's a longtime fan, one of the early shows that we had on this channel was called Thorgi Finally Plays. And it was just me playing big games that I never ever got to play. But I don't know if that'd be really great for a week-long charity stream. That might be just like a regular new thing that we start streaming, because it doesn't really fit on this channel as a show anymore, so we're not going to do that as a show. But I would love to carry on that tradition in some way, so maybe making that just a regular thing that we stream, like maybe like once every 2-3 weeks or something. Over on Twitch, we just do a special Thorgi Finally Plays stream. But yeah, so as far as the charity stream goes, I'm trying to decide between should we do a horror theme one or a Capcom theme one. That might be one of those things I ask you guys on the Patreon at the $5 tier, as I mentioned earlier. But speaking of Halloween stuff, this is one of my big regrets from last year. I do love horror games. I love everything spooky. I love everything about Halloween. So for the longest time, I don't even know how many years we've been doing it, we've had a tradition called Thorgiween. We only did it once on this channel before, but as I mentioned, we had a channel before this. And for about like 4 or 5 years in a row on that channel, we did Thorgiween. And it would be 31 days of videos all about horror related stuff. And then when we shut that channel down, I was like, you know what? I enjoy doing that too much. We're going to carry it over to this new channel. So instead of doing 31 days, we just did 7 days. We just did a full week of horror themed stuff in 2021. And I enjoyed doing it. It was great. So I was like, you know what? We're going to make that the new tradition. We're going to do that every single year. And in 2022, we didn't do it. Yeah, 1 year in and I broke the tradition. But there was a reason why I didn't do it last year. On October 3rd, right when we got done with the last Fight for the Future charity stream, I got a call from my doctor, like literally the day after the charity stream was done. And I was like, man, that was a lot of work, but it's time to start on Thorgiween. Time to do all that horror related stuff. I got a call from my doctor. And they said, hey, you know how you came in for a regular scheduled checkup 2 weeks ago? You need to come back because you might have cancer. And I want to go ahead and say this right now. I don't. They did all the tests. I'm fine. Everything is good. I do have to go back in for one more test in a few months just to make sure, but it looks like I'm fine. But the reason they know I'm fine is because I spent a solid week just going to hospitals, just getting like scanned, just having tons of radiation dumped into me. And yeah, they found out that I am okay, but that ate up an entire week of October, so there go all the Thorgiween videos. I actually had 1 video made, I had 2 more that had been recorded but not edited, I had a 4th one that had been written, so yeah, I was about halfway through making the Thorgiween videos, and I couldn't get them out, and that kind of just stunk. It kind of hurt that's why we had to finally break that tradition. But that means that this year it will be coming back, and it's going to be bigger than ever, at least as far as this channel goes, because I've already got some stuff recorded, I've already got some stuff ready to go. So yeah, Thorgiween will be returning this year. But okay, let's talk about actual new shows that we have planned coming this year. If you watched the Thorgi Direct from last year, you know that there was a show that I wanted to do that we just didn't get around to. And if you've been listening to me talk on Twitter or on Twitch about this, I've been trying to hype this thing up forever because I've been wanting to make this show for so long. We do the fighting game retrospective, in which I cover an entire series. But sometimes there's games that you don't really have an entire series to focus on. Or maybe sometimes there's one game that's part of a series, but I just want to do a bigger deep dive on it. Or maybe there's just some weird one-off idea that I have for just one single show that I just want to do. I would like to finally make a show where I can just fit all that stuff in. And I've been working on this for the longest time, but I just didn't have time to do it last year. I was able to get like some artwork done for it. I was able to get the title card for it made, the little like text thumbnail thing for it done. I started working on a schedule for it, but yeah, we just didn't get the show up. But I've been wanting to do this, so this year we are finally doing it. We're going to start doing a one-off show where I just focus on a single game, or I focus on a single theme. Like maybe that's where we can start putting like top 10, stuff like that. I'm not going to say the name of the show yet because I have learned that you should never say the name of a thing that you want to work on before you actually have it ready to go. But yeah, it is getting close to being ready. And I think what I'm going to do, I think around March, I'm going to take a little bit of time off and I'm just going to try and record 10 episodes of this new show, just back to back to back to back to back. And then I'm going to edit all those, get them all ready to go, and when they're all done, I will start uploading them on the channel and make it a bi-weekly thing, so it'll be 20 weeks worth of videos, and then we're just going to call that season 1 of that show. And I'll take everything that I learned from that season, and then we'll prep and improve for season 2. So hopefully we can start getting that ready around summertime. But okay, so that's the brand new show that we're working on. I've also been wanting to do another brand new show. I talked about this last year. I want to do a brand new show in which I just talk about older forgotten Capcom games. But I don't think I'm going to be able to do that until we get an editor. There's no way that I can do all this stuff by myself. So when we finally get an editor on, that might be fun to do. I've also been thinking about setting up another regular show that just focuses not on fighting games, but just on other old arcade games. Because I mean, it's called Thorgi's Arcade. We should probably focus on more than just fighting games. So if I wanted to focus on like beat 'em ups, or like maybe we do a retrospective on House of the Dead, or maybe we do a retrospective on like the Daytona series, like any of those old arcade series that people always associate with the arcades, that might be a fun show to do. But again, that one is going to be if we manage to get an editor. Until that happens, I don't think we're going to be able to do that show. But it is there in the back of my mind. So, I am starting to run out of all air. You can hear it in my throat. Alright, let's talk about the big meaty shows that you guys are here for. Build the roster. Yes, I know it's been a couple months since the last Build the Roster, but I always like to do the Build the Rosters like Weird Al does a record. I wait just long enough for you guys to forget they exist, and then I put out a new one. And then you're like, oh wow, yeah, this thing is back. So, Build the Roster is coming back. It is January. For anybody who's been with us for a while, you know that in January we have a tradition in which we do a Smash-themed Build the Roster, in which we take a franchise or a company out there that owns a lot of IPs and we make their own Smash Bros. This year, the Smash clone that we are going to make is for Microsoft. Yes, Nintendo, of course, has Smash Bros. PlayStation tried to make a Smash Bros. Ripoff. It only makes sense that Xbox would try to do it as well. So we're going to try and do a Microsoft Smash clone. Then the next one that we have planned is the big anniversary show. That will be in April. For anybody who has been with us for a while, you know April is when Build the Roster began. And even though we had had the channel around for a year before that, Build the Roster is really when this channel began. That's when this channel started taking off. That's when people started joining the channel. That's when people started focusing on us, and when I started to realize what we should be doing on this channel. So Build the Roster to me is kind of really the true start of when this channel was born. And that is in April, so we always do a tradition in April of having a Build the Roster that is themed around a Capcom crossover. In the very first year, it was Marvel vs. Capcom 4. Then we did Capcom vs. SNK 3. Then we did Street Fighter Cross Tekken, or I should say Tekken Cross Street Fighter. But that's pretty much all the already existing Capcom crossovers that I could possibly do. I know people have asked about Tatsunoko versus Capcom. I can't do Tatsunoko. Like, I know nothing about Tatsunoko. I'm sorry. I know nothing about any of those franchises, and I do a lot of research for Build the Rosters, but I have to at least have some kind of a basis of knowledge there to begin with, and I know nothing. I'm sorry, we can't do that one. I have had a lot of people asking for Project Cross Zone, but I kind of got problems with the idea of doing a Project Cross Zone one, and it's simply because Project Cross Zone started off as a crossover between Capcom and Bandai Namco, but then became Capcom, Bandai Namco, Sega, Fire Emblem, and whatever other weird things they could throw in there, and the roster size is freaking enormous, and to me, that means there's no challenge. To me, that means that it's no longer about figuring out who you could fit into this limited roster size while staying within the rules that you have set up. It's now just list off video game characters you like. So I don't think we're ever going to do a Project Cross Zone one. So that means that for the next big Capcom crossover one we're doing, it's a brand new thing. It's something completely made up, but it is a crossover that people have been asking for a while. The next anniversary Build the Roster that we're doing is Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat. It has been one of the longest running requested video games in video game history, so we're going to now make it happen on Build the Roster. Alright, after that, I said last year that we were going to do an X-Men Build the Roster. But sadly, we just couldn't get to it. Sadly, there was just no time. Sadly, all the other stuff that happened last year just ate into that time. Our videos were so freaking long last year. The King of Fighters retrospective really took up way more time than I expected last year. So yeah, sadly, some stuff had to get bumped, and the X-Men Builder roster is the one Builder roster I wanted to do that we didn't get to do. So to make it up for everybody who was looking forward to that last year, that is going to be the third Builder roster that we do this year. Which actually might work out even better. It might actually be a good thing that got delayed, because I think this year is when that brand new X-Men 97 cartoon comes around. I kind of lost track of that, but I think that's coming back. So yeah, I think this is going to be a big year for X-Men. So I think it's actually going to work out that we delayed it until this year. Now, those are the three Builder rosters that we're definitely going to do this year. After that, there are a couple of other Builder rosters that I want to do, but I don't know how much time we're going to have. So again, this might be one of those things that I end up asking people on the Patreon poll about. But here are the three other ideas I would like to do this year, and we'll see which one I'm able to get to. Brand new Fire Emblem game is coming out this year. Sadly, it's coming out in January, so there's no way that I can actually make a Builder roster around that, but I have been wanting to do a Fire Emblem Builder roster ever since, what's their name? Not Corrin, not Crom, what's it? Byleth, that's it. Wow, most forgettable Fire Emblem protagonist ever. Ever since Byleth got added to Smash Bros, and everybody was like, there's so many Fire Emblem characters, why don't you just make a Fire Emblem fighting game itself? I was like, that's not a bad idea. So yeah, I've been wanting to do a Fire Emblem Builder roster for the longest time. So that's one that I would like to do. I mentioned I'm a big horror fan, and we didn't get to do a lot of horror themed stuff last year. So I would really like to do a Builder roster in October based around horror properties. You know, Freddy, Jason, Pinhead, Michael Myers, the whole gang. Just get a whole monster mash going. Or this is the other idea that I got for a horror themed one. Cryptids. Yeah, something that might be a little bit harder to film, but would be far more legal. Might be a little bit easier on me to avoid copyright claims. But yeah, do like Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, the Chupacabra, like all these other like cryptid monsters. Do a fighting game based around them. So one of those two I would love to do for a Halloween theme thing. But here's another Builder roster that I would like to do this year. It's been a while since we did an anime Builder roster. And the last one was that One Piece one, and that video did great for this channel. However, that video is also a landmine of possible copyright issues, and it made me very nervous about actually uploading it. I mean, the big studio out in Japan that owns a lot of the Shonen Jump properties have actually been taking some really harsh actions on people who upload footage of any of their shows or any of their mangas. So I was very nervous about doing another anime theme one. But that video's been up for a while. We've had no problems with it. Did very well for this channel. So it might be time to finally do another anime theme one, and I've been thinking about doing Jump Force 2, like actually doing a big Shonen Jump crossover. But again, I don't know which of those upcoming videos I'll possibly have time for, if any of them. And if we do end up making some, I'll probably end up asking you guys on the Patreon which one you'd want to see. Speaking of the Patreon, that's another reason why I'm setting up the Patreon, why I'm finally deciding to do it, because yeah, as I mentioned with the horror theme one, that's a bunch of possible copyright issues. With a Shonen Jump one, that's a bunch of possible copyright issues. If we set up a Patreon, that could actually help me to get around that stuff. If I know that I've got a source of income coming from you guys, I don't have to worry about working for an entire month on a video and then YouTube just says no. So yeah, I just want to throw that out there as well. Okay, almost done. The final thing to talk about is fighting game retrospectives, and last year, fighting game retrospectives blew up on this channel. The main reason we were able to hit that 50,000 goal last year is because so many people came in for the fighting game retrospectives. The KOF community, I've talked about this a lot, the KOF community, you guys are the best. You guys showed up and you supported the hell out of this channel last year. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Bloody War community, very nice. Blaze Blue, we only had that video up for like 3 days, but you guys have already been doing great. But yeah, all year long last year, the KOF community just kept showing up last year. So yeah, thank you guys so much for that. And because of that, the fighting game retrospectives actually overtook Build a Roster as the most popular show on this channel last year. And I gotta be honest with you guys, I do like doing Build a Roster. Build a Roster is a ton of fun. That show is just a blast. It's just me being a big old fighting game geek. I love doing Build a Roster. I like doing fighting game retrospective just a tiny bit more. So seeing that now being the most popular thing on this channel, it feels really good. And also, fighting game retrospective, if I can be completely honest with you guys, it's also given me a lot more like professional credentials. Like I've seen a lot of other really big YouTubers out there taking notice of our channel, and it's because of the fighting game retrospective. So it's more popular with the audience, I'm enjoying doing it more, and it's helping to spread the channel around more and get me noticed by more influential people. So yeah, we're going to do extra focus on the fighting game retrospective this upcoming year. First up, hopefully by the end of January I can have this done. We're going to have part 2 of the Blaze Blue video, which is just me talking about the lore. Then in February, we're going to finally do the Skullgirls one. Skullgirls was supposed to be last year and it was scheduled for September, but as I was doing research for it, I discovered that in November there was going to be a lawsuit filed against the company. And I looked at that and I went, oh crap, that could change everything. And because of this, it could make a Skullgirls video that comes out in September the worst aged video I've ever done, because it could change how that story ends. But it's now January, and it doesn't look like anything came from that lawsuit. I don't think it's still going on. I think it kind of just got dusted away and nothing happened with it. So I think it's all right to finally do that again. So yeah, February we're going to finally do the Skullgirls video. By the way, I got the title card art for the Skullgirls video last January. Oh yeah, it's been that long. So when that video finally goes up, I can only imagine me tagging the artist on Twitter and them just being like, I did what now? I made you a Skullgirls what? So hopefully they remember that. I don't have to explain them. Yeah, you remember this happened. So yeah, that's gonna be a video that has been years, literally over a year in the making at this point. So yeah, Skullgirls is the next big one that we're doing. Then I want to focus on some smaller franchises. I want to focus on some things that are real quick one done. That's a big other goal for mine this year, is that I want to try and get my videos to be a little bit shorter. I know you guys like the long videos, but let's be real, some of them are just too damn long. And yeah, I'm not talking about like going like from a 2-hour video down to a half-hour long video. No. I'm talking like, okay, if this video would normally be 2 hours, maybe I get down to 1 hour and 45 minutes, like something like that. Like just slide a little bit of it off, just slice a little bit off. But I do also want to focus on just some smaller, more obscure franchises out there. Mostly because I've had a lot of people asking me, okay, when are you gonna do this series? When are you gonna do this series? And if I just did all the big series back to back to back to back, then that means in 3 years from now, I'd have nothing. Like, there would be no more big series to cover. And yeah, I can't do that. I gotta divide them up a little bit. So we're gonna start focusing on a couple more smaller series. So we're gonna do Art of Fighting. The plan was always originally to do Fatal Fury, then Art of Fighting, then do King of Fighters. But then King of Fighters kind of crept up on me. I was like, oh, I should really do that one now. So yeah, we did Fatal Fury, then King of Fighters. So now we're going to rewind, go back in time, and do the Art of Fighting one. Then, speaking of that King of Fighters retrospective, I made a joke in that video, and it was purely a joke. I didn't mean this seriously at all. But I made a joke about doing a Rumblefish retrospective. And then at the end of last year, they announced out of nowhere that Rumblefish 2, a game that never got ported out of the arcades, was going to finally be ported out of the arcades. They were finally going to release it. And from what I understand, it's a horrible port, but I've also heard that they're working on it, trying to fix it. But yeah, I feel like that was a sign. I feel like when you make a joke about doing a retrospective on a thing, then they release the thing, you gotta do it. So yes, we will be doing the Rumblefish retrospective. But I gotta do another big one. As I mentioned, I can't just do big series, big series, big series, big series. I want to do like one big series a year. So, the big series we're doing this year is Street Fighter. Should have been obvious. Street Fighter 6 is coming out. It's one of the most anticipated games of the year, one of the most anticipated fighting games of this generation. Yeah, we gotta make a Street Fighter retrospective. We gotta make the Street Fighter retrospective, and it's going to be a 4-parter. Part 1 is the first and second games, plural. Yeah, all the different versions of Street Fighter 2. So Street Fighter 1, Street Fighter 2, that's part 1. Part 2 is going to be Alpha, 3, and the EX games. Part 3 is going to be 4, 5, and Cross Tekken, because that is very important to the history of Street Fighter, and I do consider that to be a Street Fighter spin-off. And then the final part, part 4, will be Street Fighter 6, and all the tie-ins. So yeah. I don't know if I want to wait until Street Fighter 6 comes out and put part 1 out at that time, or get like, say, part 1, part 2 out, and then put part 3 out when Street Fighter 6 comes out, to try and give people like a couple of videos to already watch when part 3 has already gone up. It's weird trying to figure out how to hit that correct algorithm. But yeah, so Street Fighter is the one that we're going to do this year. I do have one other kind of big video. I do have one other kind of big retrospective plan towards the end of the year. But I'm going to keep that quiet for now, because I should also point this out. I mentioned I don't want to just do big video, big video, big video, because you want to save some of these franchises for later. But Tekken is coming out sometime soon. And I've heard people say, oh, Tekken's coming out 2023. I don't believe that. I think it's coming out 2024. Partly because then that would mean that would be coming out at the 30th anniversary of Tekken, and there's any time to end the Mishima saga that's been building since the first game, it's on the 30th anniversary of the first game. So I think it's coming out 2024, which means that will be the big video that we do in 2024. But if somehow it does end up releasing at the end of this year, I will push some stuff back and get the Tekken retrospective started then. Because yeah, you just gotta hit those marks. But yeah, so, as I said, Skullgirls, BlazBlue Part 2, Art of Fighting, Rumblefish, and Street Fighter, those are the ones that are definitely happening this year. Excuse me. Those are the ones that are definitely happening this year. We will see what comes after that. But there, that's it. Those are all the plans I have right now that I am at least willing to share with you guys about what we have for the future. Oh man. This always goes on way longer than I planned for it to, but hey man, you've seen the link to my videos, you know what to expect. I am a long-winded man. I am the king of videos that you put on in the background when you want to have the sound of someone talking filling the apartment. So, I thank you guys very much for tuning in. I thank you for all the support that you gave us last year. And now I'm just gonna go, I'm gonna drink some more tea because my voice, as you can hear it, definitely needs it. Well, you know, I've been fixing this area up in here because we plan on using it for that new one-off show that we've been talking about. But I think it looks okay. I think it's looking okay right now. It looks like a good background for a game-themed show, but I don't know what to put there. Feel like we're missing something right there. Actually, you know what would fit great right there? One of those 100,000 subscriber plaques that YouTube hands out. Yes, it's time to talk about our goal for the upcoming year. We set 50,000 subscriber goal for last year. Time to talk about the upcoming goal, and that upcoming goal is not going to be 100,000 subscribers because there's no way we're hitting that in a year. Like I'm just being real with you guys. We ain't going from 50,000 to another 50,000 in 1 year. That ain't happening. But I think I'm gonna push myself hard this year. Not too hard. As I said, I'm gonna take care of my health, but I'm going to try and make even better videos, try and bring in even more people to check out this channel. So our goal this year is 80,000. So that's it. We gained 22,000 subscribers last year. We're gonna try and gain 30,000 this year. So if you guys are with me, if you are ready to help out this channel, then just keep giving us a thumb up, keep hitting the subscribe button, ringing the bell, leaving comments. That's the stuff that lets YouTube know to send these videos around the web. As I said, you're also going to be able to support us on Patreon. We're looking for people to help out with the Discord. But even if you don't want to support us in any other way, if you just want to keep watching these videos, that's all you got to do. Just keep watching the videos. That's all we need. I appreciate you guys just doing that. Like, that alone helps out this channel. And again, doing YouTube can be rough. It's a lot of work. But you guys help make 2022 a really great year. You guys help support this channel so much. You guys were always sending me messages to help keep pushing me forward. So thank you guys again so much for all the support. My throat is wrecked right now, so I'm going to go and try and heal myself up before we start on the next video. So yeah, thank you guys very much. Have a happy, safe new year, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.